That is beautifully put. I hope people will make the right choice. Although something else that you write about in the book is people, specifically white people, being willfully ignorant. In fact, you quote the scholar Catherine Orr, who says, "I think white folks are terribly invested in our own innocence. The belief that the United States is a meritocracy in which anyone can succeed if only they try hard enough also supports the notion that anyone who is financially successful is so because they've worked harder or somehow more innately gifted than others. And both ideas operate as a justification for maintaining our profoundly unjust economic system." You also quote James Baldwin, who says that what they see is a disastrous, continuing present condition which menaces them and for which they bear an inescapable responsibility. But since, in the main, they seem to lack the energy to change this condition, they would rather not be reminded of it. So, my question is, how do you reach people who are willfully ignorant of what they don't want to know?
I hope with the Some of Us is that people read it who don't all completely agree with me. That's been the case throughout the 2 years that the adult version of the book has been out. And I hope that some of the individual stories that I tell in the book resonate with them. I'm thinking right now of a white woman named Bridget Hughes in Kansas City, Missouri, who is a working class woman, um, married with 3 kids. She and her husband both work minimum wage jobs. She's worked in fast food all of her life. And when I met her, she had become a part of a multiracial coalition of fast food workers called Stand Up Casey for Kansas City that had helped to win a local increase in the minimum wage and had really built worker power as part of the fight for 15 all over the country. And Bridget looked at me straight in the face and she said, "Listen, when I was first approached about joining the fight for 15, I said no. And I said no because I had been taught this idea that, we're all on our own, that it's us versus them. She said, I believed that immigrants were taking our jobs and that Black people in the cities were lazy and on welfare. And I didn't want anything to do with anything that brought me shoulder to shoulder with people like that. But she went to her first organizing meeting anyway, because she said it had free pizza. And there she saw a room, in her words, that was just the most diverse room she'd ever been in. And she saw a Latina woman stand up and say, her life story. Talk about living in a 2-room apartment with 3 kids and bad plumbing and feeling trapped and like she could never make ends meet, but she couldn't get a better job. And as Bridget said, I saw myself in her. And she realized that there are common struggles. And through organizing, through actually trying to get more and more people on her job to sign up and take a pledge to fight for workers' rights, through doing rallies and strikes and demonstration, she learned her own power and learned the power of standing with other people and learned that, as she says, it's not us versus them. In order for us to come up, they've got to come up too, because as long as we're divided, we're conquered. There are Bridgets all over the country, but it's not going to be about an argument. It's going to be about people realizing that our fates are linked, that we have to fight with one another instead of against one another, and that we will all do better when we can take on powerful forces that want to keep us economically struggling and realize that there is enough for everybody.
Heather, you're amazing. Am I going to have the chance to vote for you for public office one of these days?
I have no idea, Rob. But I do know that your cat is very cute. And I had a black cat when I was growing up, actually. This picture is right here. Let's see if you can see it. So that's me on a big wheel. And that's my cat, Elliot, that I had from age like 2 until 21. And he was a black cat too.